this song sucks. Wow. So sorry, folks. I just can't do it.
That's crazy.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
That is a radical proclamation on your part. Oh, look at you. The Coors Banquet.
The banquet's back. Yeah, it's fun. We were just shooting the breeze before recording here, talking about all the beers you used to drink pre-parties. Yes. Golden, you mentioned. Never heard
Molson
of Golden.
Golden was my high school beer.
This is pretty cool.
It was funny because we were talking about the fact that it was very territorial, right? So Golden was my beer, and everybody had their brand. It was like, my brand is better than your brand. And I mean, it was they weren't really that different, really. Like, somebody would drink X, and another guy would drink Golden, and somebody would drink Canadian, whatever. But it was just so stupid, right?
They were all shit, so it doesn't your brand.
All garbage beers. My garbage beer is better than your garbage beer.
Molson Golden. So what was the deal with it? What was its claim to? It's just
heavy. Like, it's a real. The brands. Export. 50. Golden. Yeah. Canadian was in there. But these were like, this is like beer drinkers' beer back then in the 80s. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Ooh.
It was not
Blue?
Coors Light,
what about Blue? Anybody just drink Labatt Blue?
Blue is always kind of, I don't know.
Your dad's beer?
Yeah. Not big on Blue. Yeah. There was no Coors Banquet back then.
Well, they brought back the Coors Banquet Stubbies for a time back in like 2018,
oh, did they really?
2019. I loved it, man. The Coors Banquet Stubbies. Wow. You just felt so cool drinking out of a Stubby. That's why, it's just so cool.
I remember as a kid when the long necks came in, Bud brought that in. And then all of a sudden everything was a long neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, everything used to just be cans,
when I was in grade 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
It's a good beer talk. It was a good beer talk.
How about some Blondie talk?
Blondie's Parallel Lines. Why don't you hit me with it? Do you want to get things started with Blondie's Parallel Lines, or do you want me to?
No, I will. So the record in the trajectory that we're kind of following here, I thought this was, and again, by the way, we were supposed to do a double, like a 2-in-1 in this, and I'm so glad that we did not do that. This record, and we don't know how you felt about it yet, so I'll just kind of plead my case here.
Plead it.
This record for me is a very lazy New York kind of post-punk CBGB band versus a taskmaster pop producer who's going to whip this band into shape. And, that's the Parallel Lines record, really. And you can hear both sides of that, kind of dichotomy. So what did you think of that?
Yeah.
You didn't like it.
I really wanted to like it. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like Blondie. I was like, I've never really been too into Blondie before. Heard some of her, one way or another, and I guess Heart of Glass as well. And I was like, I don't like her stuff. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mentioned, I don't know if maybe I kept it in an episode, but I talked about, no, I think I cut it, but I told you I would actually listen to Blondie's first record a few weeks ago, and I was kind of into that. I was kind of into it. Different than this album, a little bit. I guess it's like, yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to like it. I didn't like it very much.
You didn't like it at all.
I didn't really like. There are some songs on here that are cool, but it was funny. I've listened to it quite a few times because I thought we had a couple weeks, so I had listened to it then, and I just finished listening to it might have been yesterday or the day before. And when the album finished, I was like, no. Well, I'm really intrigued as to where she fit in this scene. Like, album 1, I kind of got it a little more. This album, I'm like, this is I don't know where is this? Where is this supposed to sit here? So
I guess when I hear this record, I kind of hear one way or another. And I'm so big on that song. And again,
really?
Alex, like what I wanted to do, initially was mix this with the Talking Heads record, because I'm trying to like illustrate this kind of bigger point, right? The highway from post-punk all the way through to the 80s. And I thought the Blondie record is, and again, like going all the way back, Blondie is one of those bands that they have great songs, but they're spread across a bunch of records. They don't really have one great record that defines the band the way that the Who does, or a lot of other bands do. And so I thought I'll mix it with Talking Heads. I changed my mind, and it's funny because you love the Talking Heads, but you see what I mean when I raise this record, right? Because one way or another, hang on the telephone. There's a lot of clunkers on the record. I do agree with you.
Okay, that's good.
But it's an important record because it kind of gives you a glimpse into what was going on with CBGB and the scene in terms of like what was going on in New York at the time, in 1978. So and it's just like I said, it's a very of the period record in terms of like post punk and rock. I'm not surprised that you don't like it.
It just like I don't really know how to describe it because I've been trying to open myself up. I'm trying I like the Talking Heads. I liked Talking Heads, not the Talking Heads. I like Talking Heads. I didn't expect that. Same with the Cars. I didn't expect that. I've been trying to really, since Supertramp, I've been trying to expand my musical. I don't know what I'm trying to expand, but I've been trying to get into it a little bit more than just do I like this song? Do I like this melody? Do I like this? I've been trying to expand why, in my thought process around the music as well. So this was, I listened to this multiple times because I was trying to figure out, I was never really excited about the songs.
I totally get that. The producer, the producer they used, Mike Chapman, said, I think later on of this band, this was the worst band that I'd ever worked with in terms of musical ability. They were awful. So Chris Stein, the foremost guitar player, was stoned all the time. He had to re-record his parts constantly. He was terrible. Blondie was in the bathroom for 2 hours at a time crying because she didn't think she was good enough to record a record. So there were all these, there's all this turmoil. The band was not good in terms of, skill. And he said it was a disaster. He had to spend hours and hours overdubbing everything.
I wonder where they got that kind of mentality. Where they felt like that, where she started feeling like that. Because, they came up, like you mentioned, the whole CBGB crowd. She was opening for the Ramones over there, And it kind of, I feel like, being within that sort of energy with that type of people, with those types of bands, where it was kind of we just make the music we want to make, however we want to make it, however it's going to sound, because this is, that it's kind of interesting that was the mentality, going into recording this record.
I think so, but where's that line, right? Where is that line between, we have talent but we don't care, and we don't have talent and we don't care?
Sure, that's fair.
The Ramones came very close to that line, and I think a lot of the bands from that ilk, the CBGBs, kind of those lazy New York post-punk, punkish bands, were we don't care, we just want to get out there and kill people with our sound, kind of thing. Yeah. And a lot of those bands were not good.
Right.
And so I think
they didn't really last either, right? Blondie and the Ramones kind of lasted, but Blondie, I mean, she went a little bit further than the majority of those bands, right?
Well, but I think that had to do with things like Heart of Glass, and we'll get into that. We'll look at that. I think that kind of saved them. But a lot of these bands just weren't really super talented. And they didn't really care. That was the thing. It was like that punk ethos was like, I don't care what you think. Blondie did not care what people think. The rest of the band didn't care. So yeah, it was a very interesting time.
I guess last part of it is that Mike Chapman, the thing he did say was, we didn't make a punk album, we didn't make a new wave album, we made a pop album. That's what this was, and that's what it feels like.
He made that album. The band did not make that record. So he made a pop album. They didn't want to make a pop album, right?
Okay.
That's the difference. So good on him.
Understood.
And you know what? The other thing, Alex, is that he brought this record into Chrysalis, their record label. And the entire label, you bring it into a boardroom and play it. Everybody hated it. They said, start over. Take your record, get out of here, do it over again. And he was like, no, it's good. And he said, like, Heart of Glass is kind of like this disco thing. Disco's hot. So let's kind of hang on that and see what happens. And they said, no, this album sucks. Do it over. True.
So did they? Or did he? No. Was he just like, no?
He convinced them that it was going to be fine based on the strength of the singles. Okay. And to his credit, again, he was right. Heart of Glass dominated. So he had a great ear.
Well, hanging on the telephone, there's one of them. Good tune. Not even their tune, but I like this tune. This started off and I was like, okay, song? Cool. I love this song, actually. It's great.
See, and again, it starts with I think a telephone's ringing. It's funny because it's that English ring, like ring, ring, right? At the beginning, and Chapman suggested that. And the band said, that's too gimmicky. We're not doing that. That's for losers or something, right? And they were like, that's bullshit.
Right.
And he said, really? You guys are not gimmicky? Like, you're Blondie. Give me a break.
The title of your band is gimmicky.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And this is actually a cover, too, because somebody else wrote this. I think there's a band called The Nerves or something, right?
The Nerves, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What was the guy's name? Band discovered the song. Jeffrey Lee Pierce sent the band a cassette of the track. Debbie Harry says, we were playing it in the back of a taxi cab in Tokyo, and the taxi cab driver started tapping his hand on the steering wheel. When we came back into the U.S., we found that the Nerves weren't together anymore, and we said, gee, we should record this. So Jack Lee was the original writer of this song, and turns out, I guess he was pretty close to poor. They were ready to shut the power off on him in his house, and Blondie reached out, asked if they could do this song, and basically saved his life. Wow. So
serendipity.
Yes, totally. So yeah, I love this song. This is a great way to kick it off. Great melody. I was like, nice. This is killer tune. Yeah.
Now, how about One Way or Another?
Can't stand it. Heard it my entire life. This is like the one Blondie song I've heard so much. This and Heart of Glass, so you'll probably understand how I feel about Heart of Glass. One Way or Another. You know what I remember this from like the Rugrats movie? I don't know if you know the show The Rugrats. It's about it's a cartoon with a bunch of kids, babies. Anyways, it was in that movie, and I just didn't like it. So now I have that in there. So I have this like negative experience from the song. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't like the wordplay. Get you one way. Yeah, maybe. I'm just like, nope, not for me. Don't like it.
What about that like intro guitar riff? The tone. Do you not dig that?
I do. The guitar playing and the drumming is next level on this album. These guys are great guitar players. And she's a great singer. I just don't like the way that I don't like the music they made. I don't like the songs they wrote. Maybe that's it.
Well, there's a lot of clunkers on this record for sure. But I've always, I don't know, like this song that as soon as that guitar comes through the speakers, it's like that tone, like you don't hear that. I didn't hear that before, and I've only heard it maybe once or twice since. Just that, you know what I mean? It's like it just gets under your skin.
It's a great tone. It's a great riff. And then you get this poppy bullshit keys and like drum pattern, like a boo ba boo ba da boo ba boo ba da boo, and you're kind of like, what happened here?
Where
did this song turn?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah.
This is a song apparently about a stalker. Earlier, this record came out in 78, but like around 73 or 74, Debbie Harry used to live in Jersey. And apparently this was about an ex-boyfriend who would not leave her alone. And it got to the point where she had to leave Jersey and move to New York, which is interesting because apparently she crossed paths with Ted Bundy at one point. I think I read that somewhere. Yeah. Where he invited her into his car or something. Or, you know, he used to use that thing where his arm was broken. He had a fake cast and said, "Can you help me with this?"
Okay.
And I used to, like, whatever he did. But apparently Debbie Harry was one of his almost victims.
That's crazy. Ted Bundy nearly snagged Debbie Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a bad song, in my opinion. So, damn. Picture this.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like a 60s kind of flavor to the song for me.
You know, and I appreciate that. I just don't like it. Yeah. All I want is a room with a view. Like, I don't know.
But she rhymes solid with wallet, you know. And since we did that Sting thing, I always think about like rhyming couplets. And apparently she was very proud of that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was coming along as quite the songwriter. No.
Yeah.
They don't rhyme seemingly, but the way that she sang it, I guess, it worked. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to. I mean, again, it's cool that they were able to do this as a band, to make this sound, to make this type of era, this period type song in the time, and incorporate into the music at the time. Yeah, just I don't know.
You're gonna hate the next song too.
You know what?
Oh.
Yes.
I was like, oh.
It's not so bad, but it is a little. No, it's not my favorite. No, you know what I do like, and this is going to sound funny at first, but I like the end. not when it finishes, but when it's that little reggae riff for the last like 30 seconds of the song. I'm like, where was this? Bring this back. Why did you save this for the last 30 seconds of the song?
This is art pop, really. So I'm not surprised that this is very experimental for me.
Yeah, what did it sound like? I thought it was like Styx. Ooh, mama, I'm afraid for... What is that song?
Renegade.
Life for... Renegade, yeah. That was kind of what I heard when she first went, ooh, baby. Same year. But, yeah, it was interesting. Again, I like the musicianship. I like the instrumental. It's just weird. The guitar tone's cool. That wee, like, it's a cool tone. It's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very experimental, and it's odd.
Is this that whole line? What's that line of like dusty frames from 1954 or something like that?
I read somewhere where Rob Sheffield, and I don't even know why I'm like making light of this, from Rolling Stone, said that was like the coolest lyric ever written in the history of rock and roll. How does the line go? Dusty frames.
Dusty frames that still arrive die in 1955.
So being touted as one of the, I don't have the intellectual capacity to understand why that's the greatest rock lyric of all time. But
so, yeah,
it is for some people.
I'm with you. It's in reference, from what I read, in reference to James Dean. So once I discovered that, I was like, is this like an ode to this whole song, like an ode to James Dean? Because a lot of this, as I just bring up the lyrics here one more time, silver pictures move so slow, golden tubes faintly glow. Like, there's a lot that speaks to being like a movie star, being on TV, or electric faces seem to merge, hidden voices mock your words. My dream is on the screen. Oh, beams become my dream. My dream is on the screen. Dusty frames of still arrive, die in 1955, fade away and radiate. So I almost felt like, was this actually a song written for James Dean? And maybe that's a reach as well. But yeah,
maybe.
I don't know
a lot about it.
I don't know. No. So it was kind of an interesting take once I heard about that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, the greatest. What? I don't get it either. I'm with you. No. But all those last 30 second reggae riff is friggin' cool. That's what I like.
I agree.
Yeah. Pretty baby.
Take it or leave it for me. It's a clunker for me.
It's a big clunker. Big old clunker. It's kind of fun. Pretty baby. It's kind of fun. Like, again, if you think about the 50s, it's fun.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of, I don't know.
This is why I'm confused. I don't really know what Blondie is.
I know, but I don't know who's next.
I know, but I don't know. Second favorite song on the album. Love the song.
Really?
Oh, yeah, this is great. You know, dude, this actually reminds me of I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges. Like, this has some Stooges feel to it.
Yeah, Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very astute. It's got a very kind of period feel, right? Like, I've always thought this kind of sounds like Alice Cooper.
This is one of the cool songs. This is one of the. I was like, this is when I was like, this is cool. Like this. I would imagine this being like, write more of this stuff. Do more of this kind of music. I'd be into you, Blondie, if it was more like this.
It just reminds me of something that's not Blondie. Like, it reminds me of other bands, like, to the point where it takes away from it kind of being Blondie, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So you don't like Blondie? You don't like Debbie Harry? Is that the whole thing?
I know I do. That's the actual problem, is that I like them enough so that songs like this take away from me liking them.
So 11:59.
And first song on side 2. So you know what that means.
Oh, you know what that means.
It's time
I got nothing.
for the intermission, Alex.
Beer.
What do you got there? There, you're on your way to the lobby.
Actually, here, like, I'll just do this.
What do they call it? Do they call it the lobby?
The lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Oh, they do.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a song Blondie should have written and sung.
Is this sound effect in the...
Oh, love it. Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I don't have a cork, but my lobby treat, some cinnamon hearts.
Really? Really? Cinnamon hearts.
It's a Thursday night. It's almost the weekend.
Have you got cinnamon hearts right there?
No.
Oh, you do. Oh, gross.
That's what I meant. I just took a swig of Fireball. It's starting to really get bad, though. I'm starting to be like, I can't keep drinking this.
I'm so glad, Alex, because, like, it's so awful.
But it's fun. It's fun.
It's so bad.
Yeah? And it's 11:59.
This is cool because for me, you can hear this in 90s and 2000s pop songs. I can. I don't know. Do you find?
Yeah, I know. Not sure on it. But it's okay. It's an okay song. It's like it's not like horrible, but yeah, it's good. It's a cool song. It's all right.
It's a 5.
I don't know how to feel.
A 5 out of 10.
That song, yeah, exactly. Highest rating of all songs. Well, no, maybe not. Will Anything Happen?
This, for me, is... you ever hear of a band called The Vapors? They had a song called Turning Japanese.
Oh, okay. I know that song, yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-hit wonder. This kind of reminds me of that song.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A little bit.
It's almost like perfect placement for this song, because like by the time this song comes up on the album, you're actually asking yourself, will anything happen? You're like, what am I listening to? Is anything gonna happen? Yeah.
Well, I actually like this record somehow.
is something gonna save this? And maybe we're getting there. It's not, it's kind of a fun little song too. Like, I think it's okay. Like, I do like the way the chorus. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig the feel that they go to with that. So yeah, I'm okay with. I'm all right with the song. It's weird verses, but yeah, I kind of like the way that it shifts. Like this, it's cool. It's all right.
Again, very much of the time.
Yeah,
and fun. Like this kind of reminds me. Like I think I was 9 when this came out. So I just remember hearing all these songs and being like, wow, like what is this? And again, turning Japanese, and so it was kind of a time of wonderment and amazement and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anything
deep? Am I missing anything in the lyrics for these songs? Or is there anything deep with these? Like anything we should be really focused on lyrically?
No. They were, Blondie, Debbie Harry was writing these lyrics, and literally, as Chapman was saying, okay, so it's time to roll tape. She was like, hang on, and literally just finishing the lyrics. So she had all rehearsal, all pre-production, like the whole time, and literally they were ready to record, and she was like, hang on just 1 second.
Let the artist work. Well,
the artists were, I don't know what you want to say about the artists in this case, but
got it.
Yeah, it was a bit slipshod, according to Chapman.
Sunday Girl. Yeah.
This was about her dog. Her dog was called Sunday Man, and Sunday Man ran away, and she wrote the song because it's I guess it's kind of a sad song, right? But Sunday Man ran away, and she told the band, she was crying, she was a disaster, and she was Sunday Girl. It's a sad song.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind like the vibe of it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, but again, by this point in the album, I'm kind of like checked out a little bit. But it's all right. It's again, it's not a bad song. Like, and I've said this before. It's not bad music. I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not into it. Like, they clearly had an audience. This album did well for them, and again, because showing that pop world. Right, and I have a feeling it was because of the next song, Heart of Glass.
So I was going to say, Heart of Glass is next. So based on what you just said, you're just like, I was checked out, and kind of done. So Heart of Glass was put there to either lift you up and be like, wow, this is great, or just completely like piss you off and make you turn it off. And I think that you probably turn it off.
I have no idea why this song is lauded the way that it is. This is like one of the top songs of all time. Pitchfork says it's one of the top songs. Rolling Stone says it's one of the top songs. I'm pretty sure this is one of like the top album. I'm like, I do not hear that with this song. Really, maybe just because of the impact it had on the music and the list and like the scene, the disco scene, right. Or I can't hear it. I don't get it. Even the lyrics, the only person that gets away with saying having a gas in a song is Mick Jagger in Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's the only way. The lyrics of this song are just, I don't get it. Sorry, folks. And the singing of it and the instrument, whoa, awful.
Actually, I like the song. This was like one of the first Blondie songs ever. It's a funny story actually, because Chapman said, I think when they convened for the first time, said, "Okay, play me all your stuff," and they played all the songs, and he kind of was like, "Do you have anything else?" And they were like, "Oh, he doesn't like it." And someone said, "Well, we have this old chestnut from 5 years ago that's never went anywhere. We tried it reggae, we tried it heavy rock, we tried it every different way." But they played it for him, and he was like, "Oh, that is potential." And wow. they did it with a disco beat. Yeah. And I think the drummer, I don't remember was it Nigel Harrison? I don't know if he's the drummer. But he was fascinated with the Bee Gees' Saturday Night Fever and the groove that was in the drums on that record. And he, in the song, apparently tried to capture that groove in Heart of Glass. And Chapman loved it so much that he said, "This is going to be a huge hit, and I'm going to tell the people at Chrysalis that this is going to work out." And this is one of the songs where they said, "Start over, this album sucks." He said, No, this is going to be a hit. So,
and it was, thank God, for some reason. For some reason it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. Clem Burke was the drummer, but I don't. Fair, fine, whatever. I don't get it. I'm in the I don't get it category. I'm in the I don't get it crew, because I listen to the song and I'm like, this was a song I've known, and I know that every time I've heard it, whether it be in a movie, whether it be on the radio, I've been like, this song sucks. Wow. So sorry, folks. I just can't do it.
That's crazy.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
That is a radical proclamation on your part.
Just can't do it.
Well, good for you for speaking your mind. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's why. Could you imagine if I had the hoodie on? I look like a goof enough as it is, people listening to me talk about Blondie. If I had the hoodie on saying Heart of Glass, stupid. Again, nobody would take me seriously. Yeah, as if I'm worried about my credibility that was already fully existent prior to this episode. I'm Gonna Love You Too, though. I like this tune. This is fun.
Do you?
Yeah.
This is Buddy Holly cover.
Perfect. That makes so much sense to me.
That
makes a lot of sense.
It sounds like Peggy Sue to me. Like, it's just got that kind of typical. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's got the same kind of like rhythmic pace. It's a weird choice, but I guess it works. And you know what? This was actually their first single from this record. And that's a funny thing, come to think of it. This was the first single. Heart of Glass, which was arguably one of their biggest songs, fourth single. I don't know who is in charge of that, but
was it that, or was Picture This
before Heart of Glass?
Right. Or I thought it was Picture This was their first single. Was it this one? I'm Gonna Love You Too was their first one?
Hanging on the Telephone was one. I think One Way or Another
Picture
was also
This.
one. Was it a single?
I think Picture This.
Look that up.
Yeah, Picture This was the first one. Then I'm Gonna Love You Too was number 2. Hanging on the Telephone, Heart of Glass was number 4. Sunday Girl, One Way or Another. Six singles
from this record.
They tried, eh? They really tried.
Wow.
Let's get it out there, folks. Just Go Away wraps it up with a nice shitty bow. It's really sends it on its way. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. It's not shitty, guys. Like I just it's not shit. And that was just me having fun. But it's like it is what it is. It is what it is by this point. And again, like I'm okay having listened to it. I'm glad I've explored this. Supertramp, I was like, why the hell am I listening to this? But now at this point I'm kind of like, I'm glad I took this in. I'm glad I listened to this album. I'm glad I took a listen to understand Blondie.
what I'd hoped is that you could see how this piece fit into the whole puzzle.
I don't know if I do, but I appreciate you trying.
It was an important piece to a lot of people. The Blondie segment was, and you know, I will tell you though that a lot of very serious kind of music connoisseurs were not happy about Blondie. They thought that she was without talent. They watched her perform live. She just kind of flung herself around the stage, didn't carry herself well. People hated that, and they said Blondie is a no talent band. But I do personally think that, you know, based on their, I think they've come up with a couple of important songs, and I think that they should be recognized in the genre.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to recognize too that it's about performing, right? Like, why wouldn't she be able, like, if she was all over the stage and like, it's not, I think that's what it is. Like, that's what getting up there and performing is all about, is having an energy and doing what you want on stage, and, you know, and taking control of the environment and of the audience, and helping to create an environment for them that is like entertaining. So I don't understand why you can come out there and be like, oh, she shouldn't be out there doing this or doing that. Because I mean, like, that's all part of it. Like, if you can't sing, right? Roth couldn't sing for a while, right? But he was out there having a time. Nobody, I mean, people slighted him for it, but a lot of people were like, this is great. You know, this is the entertainment factor.
There's a lot of singers who couldn't sing, right? Michael Stipe was not a singer. Ozzy Osbourne was not a singer. These people pulled it off and did very well for themselves. Yeah.
No, I would never say that about her. I would never be like, she doesn't deserve to be. I just, like I said, I was listening to her first album. I was into a few of those tunes. I think she brings a lot to the band. I think she's Blondie, right? Like, her voice is iconic with their music of the era and of the time, and I think she should definitely be looked at as, you know, looked up to and looked at as a very influential and big part of the music world, and like, that's obvious. So anyways, I do agree with that.
Good for you. Good. Even though you didn't like this record, I like that.
I mean, maybe I should try and be a little more elegant in my delivery. If I do think, you know, what I think about with music is like, oh, it's really just in how you interpret it. Everybody can like it, but I mean, where's the fun in that? If I want to say a song shit, it's shit.
If you think it's shit,
right?
Yeah, that's
shit.
We all have opinions, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's like, we just happen to have a platform for me to, for people to hear my silly opinion.
That's right.
So,
so what is, shall I dare ask what your rating is on this?
Yeah, I mean, so here again, it's like important, right? So I gotta weigh that with, like, I don't know, can I go lower than 3? What did I give Supertramp? 2? I can't go lower than 2. I can't go to 2.
Supertramp
so probably
got 2, I do believe.
Yeah, so probably I guess it's like, I think we'll go 3. I think we'll give it a 3.
So next album, The Pretenders, Learning to Crawl.
All right, Pretenders, great. Let's get into it. Oh, by the way, we should probably just let our viewers know we're not here next week. I'm going to be in Punta Cana for a family vacation. What are you doing?
I'm going to Las Vegas with my pal Steve Fleming.
Holy smokes!
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you going to come back? Are you going to be back for the episode the next week? I hope so. Yeah, me too.
We'll see.
Wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll have a blast.
You too.
Thanks. I'm gonna be on vacation with kids, so we'll see. We'll see how much. It'll be fun. It'll be a hoot. There'll be a hoot. Like, do they still have bars at kids' resorts? This is a Nickelodeon resort. So
there should be twice as many bars at kids' resorts.
Twice. Yeah. All right. So just wanted to make sure we got a heads up there for you folks. No show next week. Come back March 9th for the show on the Pretenders.
Right.
Okay.
All right, my man.
Good. All right. Well, enjoy. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
You bet.